What it do? It's your boy, Illuminated D, and you know what I'm saying? We back with another one. The first thing I want to do is thank you to everybody who's liked and commented. And to all the subscribers, Pops and I want to let you know how much we really appreciate you. For you to come and spend your time with us and to consume the content while we understanding that you have busy lives, we want to thank you and bless. And family, if you'll repeat after me, I can, I have, I done, I will, I did, it is, amen, amen. So family, today's topic of conversation is going to be called, does body count really matter? I know that this topic is going to really upset a lot of people. So if you're easily triggered, please do not watch this video. If you're not easily triggered, then this is probably the perfect video for you. So let me go ahead and get my setup real quick, and we're going to have this conversation, okay? We're going to have this conversation. So, family, I've been seeing a lot of chit chat on the net, and everybody's talking about, does body count really matter? Well, I want to give you two perspectives. On one side, body count really doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't. And on the other hand, body count definitely matters, right? So we have the red pill, blue pill side of the conversation, and then we have the reality side of the conversation. Let me go ahead and start with the reality side of the conversation. Then I'm going to jump over to the red pill, blue pill conversation. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and do a closer. I don't want to make this too long. So does body count really matter? Let's go with the reality. Truthfulness is, at the time of you losing your virginity, if it was a good experience, a lot of people go into this thing called heat, right? They go straight into it, especially for men. Men go into heat because the box feels so good. It feels so good a lot of times. You just want to, and you just really can't even help yourself. You really can't even help yourself. Like, it sends you into this trance and it makes you fiend, right? It does. I'm not going to lie to you. So if you have one partner, which most men who have their first experience, depending on how their lifestyle is going, because you got to understand, not everybody's the popular guy. Not everybody is the popular guy. Not everybody was in football. Not everybody was in basketball. Not everybody was really in the sport type of thing. So the body might not be right. So you might end up getting yourself a basic. And if you got that basic, then 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to lie to you, you're probably going to be intertwined with your partner. But then this goes into the promiscuity conversation, because does body count really matter? Because if you got a guy who is popular, you know what I'm saying, fit, get into his bag at an early age, depending on your age range, I'm not gonna lie to you, probably gonna catch a lot of bodies. Now, looking at it on the woman's side of things, if she a baddie, she look good, she thick, smell good, always got her hair did, I'm not gonna lie to you. See, you know how they always say, the baddies be turning a lot of dudes down? This is the polar opposite, because the truth of it is if you're bad, then you can expect that more dudes are gonna try and get at you. Now, at a younger age, you can't necessarily weed out who actually likes you for your personality and your characteristics versus them liking you for your body. So this is, I know it's going to get a little deep, but the point of it is if you're a baddie, 9 times out of 10, you're going to catch more bodies. If you didn't have a good upbringing or a male role model figure to tell you that I love you, you know what I'm saying, you're beautiful, you know what I'm saying, these simple little words that the ones that aren't, women that aren't necessarily sought after at a younger age, they're not necessarily hearing it directly from a lot of guys versus their family. But if you're a baddie, and you don't get it at home, then 9 times out of 10, where does it come from? It comes from the streets. So if it comes from the streets, then that means that a lot of people sometimes get taken advantage of, which means that they end up acquiring a higher body count because up front dudes are telling you how bad you are, how good you look. They really running down on you. They running down on your head. And if you don't have that male role model figure, then 9 times out of 10, you're falling into the trap of the game. So jumping back into the topic of, does body count really matter? Up front, body count doesn't matter, because you got to understand that if a guy is trying to seek after a woman that he wants, then he's going to put that work in. Now, conversation. So you know how they say if a man finds out a woman's past, then it becomes a problem? So let's say she caught 100 bodies, but they never have this topic conversation, and he doesn't know that she caught 100 bodies. Then 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be an issue. Now, he might wonder how she do that thing with the tongue, how she do the little grip thing. He probably wondering, like, how are you doing this to me? Especially if she putting it on you right. You probably not going to ask too many questions because it feels so good. But at any point, if the conversation is had and then the man finds out that you caught 100 bodies, then we go to the red pill, blue pill conversation, where it then potentially becomes a problem because of this reason. Now, if it's in a small hometown city, 9 times out of 10, everybody's gonna know. So if everybody knows, then everybody knows not to get with the, you know what I'm saying? THOT. We know not to get with the THOT. But in all hindsight, it doesn't matter unless you know. So for me personally, I don't care unless I found out that you got 100 bodies. Now, how would I find out that you got 100 bodies? It would acquire me snooping. It will acquire me having and asking a lot of different questions, and or people contacting me and telling me that you've caught a lot of bodies. Now, this is why I say it doesn't matter. The reason why it doesn't matter is because if you really care about a person and you love the person and the person's treating you right and they doing right by you, you're not going to care. The things that they learned in their past are definitely an even bigger reason of why you like the person, because if they don't have any experience, then, you know what I'm saying, sometimes for the more experienced dudes, it might be a little irritating to know that you don't necessarily, and then to have to teach you is a whole nother thing. And then if the sexual compatibility isn't there, then 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't work. I'm going to just be honest with you. It just doesn't work. But if you already know what you're doing, then it's a beautiful thing, because now you both can please each other. Now, back to the conversation of, does the body count really matter? It matters only if the individual, the other party knows. Now, we're not necessarily looking at the morals and the religious side of it right now. But yes, it only matters if they know. Now, if at any point, like I said, that they find out that you caught a lot of bodies, then instantly it becomes a problem because of a couple different reasons, and they say scientifically. So scientifically, they say it's harder to pair bond. If you caught a 10-incher, 9 times a 6-incher isn't going to do it for you, unless you're at the point in life where you've decided to settle down and everything is adding up. So the man's lifestyle, future, career, money, can they take you out? Do they make you feel good? Are they knocking it down right? Are they knocking it down right? If the sexual compatibility is not there, I promise you it's going to destroy every single relationship unless you have the ability to learn. And faster than slower. Faster than slower, because they can, yes, you can train your partner. You can absolutely train your partner, but are they willing to try new things? Are they willing to try new things? So I think this kind of covers the topic of, does body count really matter? On one hand, if the person doesn't know your body count and, you know what I'm saying, it's not really an issue and they're not really asking those type of questions, then it's not really a problem, because nobody really cares. Everything is good. It feels good. It is good, and it will be good. But on the other hand, if the conversation never comes out, or if somebody comes out and says, "Hey, Gene, I know you," or Jessica, I know you. You remember back in the day when the football team, if that type of conversation comes out, then instantly it's going to be a topic conversation and it's going to bring up red flags. Red flags. But let's go into a little bit deeper. You have wholesome individuals and you have predatorial type individuals, right? A predatorial type individual only is looking to smash. They're only trying to smash. And you never really know if they're only trying to smash. And then the wholesome individual, you never know if they're only trying to smash. The only way to do it, right? The only way to do it is to withhold. And then you got to be even more, because men, right? If they have options, 9 times out of 10, they're probably not going to wait. They're going to wait for you to be ready, and they will play their part and then until they smash. But if you make them wait too long, then it might cause some egregious feelings of why I had to wait versus if Johnny had to wait. And if Johnny didn't have to wait and I had to wait, then potentially they might just want to smash and dash. I know that it's getting deep, family. I know it's getting deep, but let's rewind for a second. Does body count really matter? No, it doesn't matter unless everybody knows and understands each other's past. That's why in the new generation, most people aren't asking, hey, how many people did you smash? Because the truth of it is nobody's really going to tell you the truth. Some people might after they smash. Does it really affect the relationship? Per se, not per se. It just depends on the person. Some people say that you're a simp if you date a chick that's caught 100 bodies. Some people won't. But the truth of it is in your heart, in your mind, do you really want to know? You have to ask yourself that question. Do you really want to know how many bodies your partner caught? Because if you did, then would it change the whole dynamic of the love that you have for them? And if it would, then at that point, you know what they say. Don't ask for things that you're not looking for. Because we all want to be successful. We all want to be somewhere in life. But in order to do that, you got to do something that you ain't never done before. And that's the reason that we're doing this right here, right now. Everybody be blessed. Be safe. We out. Peace.